A good Friday afternoon to you. I'm meteorologist Nicholas Herboso, and we're going to start this update off with a look at the tropics. Then we'll switch over to local weather. We do have, of course, football going on, but I want to start this update off in the tropics with Hurricane Lee, possible U.S. impacts to New England. Of course, no impacts to the local Fox 10 viewing area. In fact, the Gulf will be quiet for the next 7 days in terms of the tropics. But if anybody has interest, of course, in New England, and it's just kind of an interesting storm to track, I wanted to kind of go over some of the impacts that we are expecting. So first, I'm going to give you a full screen view of what's going on right now. So 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane. A lot of dry air to the south of this thing mixing in. So with that, we have a little bit of a transition going on in this storm. You see one area of stronger thunderstorms near the center of the storm. This storm is still tropical. It is still a hurricane in the traditional sense. However, as it gets closer and closer to New England, it will begin to gain more what we call extratropical characteristics. It's no longer going to be what we call warm core. That essentially means that it's no longer going to be deriving its energy from warm water, since there is, of course, no warm water, or water that is not warm enough, off the coast of New England there. So taking a look at this a little bit closer on the 3D satellite, we can see that we do have one small area of thunderstorms near the center of the storm there. The center of the storm, if I point it out here, about right here, and you can see that one area of thunderstorms blowing up just to the north of the center. However, we do have a lot of dry air on the southern half of the storm. You can see that very clearly on our water vapor imagery. This is kind of beginning its extratropical transition. However, all of that fancy terminology does not really change the impacts of this storm. This is a large storm. And if we measure kind of the cloud field, some interesting clouds over New York today, the high cirrus clouds, cloud field around 785 miles across. This is a large system with a large wind field. Now, the wind field is not that large, but the wind field is still large. Those tropical storm force winds greater than 39 miles per hour still out there. So I want to take a look at the forecast path for Hurricane Lee. What's the timing? What are we expecting here? Well, still expected to maintain strength as a weak hurricane, strong tropical storm, then eventually going extratropical when we see that L. That doesn't really change the impacts. The impacts will be the same for Nova Scotia and Maine, and also Cape Cod there. So 75 miles per hour Saturday morning, and then by the time we get towards Saturday afternoon, this thing is making landfall kind of Nova Scotia near that kind of southern tip of Nova Scotia. Some of the models trending ever so slightly to the west, so maybe kind of more close to the Gulf of Maine and Bay of Fundy there. But overall, the main story is the impacts will be over a wider area overall. And one way that we can show that is with the forecast winds. And if we show you, this is with the GFS. This is just one forecast model, but it does show where the wind field is. And anything you see up in that green is 39 miles per hour or above. So there is a large area of tropical storm force winds there. You can see in Yarmouth 38 miles per hour according to this forecast model. It's not going to be exactly that, of course, at 8:30 on Sunday morning or Saturday morning, but it's kind of an approximation on what you can expect. A lot of onshore flow on that eastern shore of Nova Scotia all the way up to Halifax, and advancing this forward. Landfall somewhere near Yarmouth there in Nova Scotia, onshore flow on the eastern side of Nova Scotia. Therefore, you have water that will likely pile up. We're also going to have some intense waves with this thing. So think about the circulation here. We have a lot of water being pushed up onto the shore of Nova Scotia. Meanwhile, in Maine, you have water coming offshore, but still some heavy wave action there. We will also be watching in Cape Cod there for the potential for a little bit of coastal flooding there. Kind of your exact locations. That's the that's kind of near, let's see, kind of just the Cape Cod Bay area, that little hook essentially in Cape Cod. That is where some of the water might pile up based on that wind direction. Then, of course, as we head later in the day and then get towards Sunday, the storm does exit. Elsewhere, we do have a few other areas. We have Margot out there in the middle of the Atlantic. We're not going to really talk about that one because that's just looping around out there. We have a new tropical depression. This is Tropical Depression 15. We'll talk about that in a second. Do want to mention this one area, 020. That's about 7 days away for us. Need to track that, but a new area will be coming off of Africa. So here's Tropical Depression 15, a weak tropical depression, 35 mile per hour. It does look like it's going to track into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but look at that, almost a beeline for Bermuda there. So residents in Bermuda will need to take close note of this system, but it has a long way to go. That's a 5-day cone, so that's Wednesday, 9 a.m. Strengthening this thing to a major hurricane. The next name on the list is, of course, Nigel. Returning back to the full outlook so we can get our overview of things here. So we will be watching Tropical Depression 15. It just developed, and that thing is going to track off to the north and west. And we have our area that will emerge off of Africa, and we've got time to monitor this one, of course. Switching now gears, so we're going to switch to our current weather here on the Gulf Coast. So, I mean, that's pretty much it with the tropics, and key messages can be found on the National Hurricane Center website for tropical or for Hurricane Lee, any impacts there in New England, of course. If you ever want more information, National Hurricane Center website, there is that key messages page. The second you click on Hurricane Lee on the National Hurricane Center page, great source for information there, and that's probably the best source of information. And of course, we provide our regular updates as well. Taking a look across the region right now in the Gulf Coast area, what do we have? Just a few spotty showers out there right now. 87 degrees in Mobile. Current temperature is kind of around the area. We're not doing too bad. We're right around average right now. So 87 Mobile, 88 Miminet. At the beaches, 90 in Gulf Shores right now. We do have a few spotty showers out there, and I'm going to put this into motion over the last 4 hours. And we can see that we've had a little bit of development here in the Florida Panhandle, just some spotty showers, just drifting. And then we're going to let this loop go through to the current time here. You can see we just have some showers, one south of Milton, kind of along I-10 right now, also closer towards Perdido and kind of Orange Beach here. One shower that's kind of drift to the south. So if you're near the pass there in Orange Beach, kind of near Perdido Key, you will be dealing with a little bit of a shower. Right now, that shower is pretty much on top of the wharf there in Orange Beach off of the Foley Beach Express. Elsewhere across the area, we're going to reset our view here. No real showers in Mobile County at this time. All that green you see is ground clutter, but we do have the potential for some showers later today. And I know we have football, so that is a very important forecast for us. This afternoon, scattered thunderstorms, but those rain chances I do think go down. Some of the models have been hinting at lower rain chances. So that's a great thing. And also temperatures in the 80s, so it's not going to be too bad out there. I highly recommend, though, having the rain gear with you at your football games this evening, just to be safe. I don't think you're going to use it, but just in case, have the rain gear with you because it's spotty in nature, and it's kind of hard to tell exactly where they will form. Overnight tonight, temperatures dropping into the lower 70s. And here's a look at some of those football games across the area. You have plenty going on. UMS right at Gulf Shores, so down in Gulf Shores, the possibility of some storms, especially along the coast. That temperature, 83 degrees around kickoff time. Daphne at Davidson, 83 as well. Mostly cloudy conditions. The chance for isolated rain is there. Citronelle, Alma Bryant, all of these games, make sure you have the rain gear just in case, but I don't think it's that much of an impact. Other games across the area, Faith at BC Rain, possibility of some scattered storms. Baker at Foley, Viger at Williamson. Same story, temperatures dropping through the game. So overall, looking like good football conditions for us, which is a great thing to see. And a couple more games for you. MGM Fairhope down in Fairhope. That thing, isolated storms possible. I'd say have the rain gear, but once again, not very likely that you will actually need it, and the temperature shouldn't be too bad. Flomaton at Cottage Hill as well. 83 degrees at that kickoff. So really not doing bad for our football forecast, which is a great thing to see. And of course, we're going to have plenty of coverage of our football here on Fox 10 News with First and 10 today, and the crews are getting ready to do all of that right now. It's been a busy day for us here at Fox 10. Switching gears now to kind of what's going to be happening in the next few days. Well, 5 days, rain chances. Anything? Well, we have over the next couple of days, today and tomorrow, we're keeping that 40% chance of rain, and then Sunday dropping that to 20, and then 0 for Monday and Tuesday because of a front. Yes, drier air moves in here. Take a look at these dew points. Dew points essentially a measure of moisture in the air. Once they get into the 50s, we are definitely in the comfortable category. And look at Monday for those dew points in the 50s. That is impressive for this time of year. I'm excited because it's going to feel a little bit better, even though our temperatures in the afternoons will still be in the 90s. That's going to make it feel a lot drier, a lot nicer out there, so that's a great thing to see. Then humidity does start to go back up. That moisture in the air does start to go back up towards the back half of the week. And we'll switch it back to full screen for you. So there it is again, and we're in the comfortable category. Once we get towards Monday and Tuesday, rain chances stay low throughout that portion of the week. Rain chances don't come back to the latter half of the week when the moisture returns to the area. Here's a look at that extended outlook for you. So Saturday, we do keep that 40% chance for rain. Then take a look at those mostly sunny icons. It looks nice throughout the rest of the forecast, and temperatures, yeah, right around 90 degrees for the rest of the forecast. However, pay attention to that Monday night, Tuesday morning number. Yeah, 65 degrees possible. So we could see some areas in the lower 60s, especially inland, maybe some upper 50s if you go far enough north in our area. So something to look forward to there, but still a hot summer-like afternoon, maybe just feeling a little bit drier Monday and Tuesday. So that's the wrap for you on the forecast. Here at Fox 10, we're going to be preparing for our 3 o'clock show, which I will be on in just a few minutes. What time is it now? It is 2:42. So getting ready for that show as well, and I'll see you then. And then, of course, I'll be on at 4 and 5. And then Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith will be back for your late news tonight. That's our update for us here at Fox 10 News. We thank you for joining us with the forecast. I'll leave you once again with the 7-day outlook, and I'll see you on Fox 10 News live at 3.